welcome to the Next Canon podcast. My name is Danny Ray, but you know that. And on this podcast, we are working to recreate and reimagine the American theater canon to make it more representative of what we want it to be. Yes, I am so excited because today we are talking with Annelih Hamilton.
Hello.
Hello. Annelih uses she, her pronouns. Let me get all this up here. Annelih uses she, her pronouns, and she's currently experimenting with the multi-hyphenate actor, storyteller, educator, activist, and lifelong learner. She's hoping to launch her small business with her spouse in the fall of 2021, so keep your eyes out for that on all of the social media linked below. How are you doing, Annelih GH Hamilton?
Oh, bless you. You're so sweet. I'm hanging in there.
Good.
Yeah. How about you? How are you holding up?
I'm also hanging in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and today on the spectrum of days, it's a pretty good day. So yeah.
Yeah, we love that. I'm a little sore from the massage therapist, but I'm hanging in there. I'm grateful for his work.
That's right. Gotta get that self-care. And yeah, I showered and got myself all dressed up for this. So
yes.
So feeling so grateful.
We love it. Oh my gosh. Well, tell the people a little bit more about yourself. Like, what do you want the people to know?
Oh, what do I want the people to know? Well, as you so graciously, your introduction for me was so very kind. It's true that I'm like experimenting with like we all contain multitudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been doing a lot of reflection during this pandemic time, as I'm sure so many of us are. And so I've kind of not finally landed because we're all a work in progress, but actor, storyteller, educator, activist, and lifelong learner. I just don't ever claim to be an expert because I'm always learning about things. I'm a really curious person. I ask questions about almost practically any subject in the land. And I think it also is just that's just like where my brain is at right now, especially during this time of racial reckoning and confronting a lot of things, and unlearning and relearning. So that's why lifelong learner.
Lifelong learner. Honestly, same. Entirely.
Right?
Yeah. It's funny because
totally.
you can say expert, but like even experts have to keep their mind open. And like, isn't that like the point, sort of? Like, I don't know, expert level, I guess, just means you're more equipped to handle I don't know, I'm thinking about it as a video game for some reason.
No, totally. Yes.
More equipped to succeed in whatever level you're going towards.
And you have like more context, you have more like whatever of whatever you're studying. So like for me, so I have been acting forever, it feels like, but I started seriously pursuing acting when I was 13 in 8th grade. Shout out to my 8th grade drama teacher, Melissa. Thanks to her, I remember it was like you do the play of the fall. Was it the fall? Who knows? But academic theater. You you rehearse something for like months in academia. Okay.
Yeah. Then you do it like 2 weekends.
Exactly. and like in 8th grade, it's one show. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But after that show, she came up to my parents and me and straight up looked at my parents in the face and was like, Annelih, if she wanted to be an actor, she could do it. So if she wants to do that, she should do that. And I heard her say that and I went, oh my God, really? I can? Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, I've always been a performer of some sort. So I identify as a Filipina ex-American, first generation, woman of color. And I don't know how many Filipino ex people or your listeners know, but we love karaoke. We love, at least I don't want to like stereotype us, but we are very loud and brown. And on the spectrum of that, like I have, Filipinx family and friends that are not loud like me, but they could get loud, if they wanted to.
Yes.
But there's very much like I think think when I think of Filipinos, especially in America, because I identify as Filipinx American, so I kind of like seek out that kind of community.
Yeah.
I see like there's like like a sparkle about us, like a, I don't know if it's the melanin, I don't know, but there's something about us that and also because I'm biased, I love us, so I'm drawn and attracted to us, right? But yeah, there's just something like I think is like perform if you want to perform, and I feel like that's just like in my blood, right?
Yeah.
So I really identify as that. So I think like out of the womb, I was probably a performer, but I started to take it really seriously when I was 13, and I was like, I'm just going to study acting, because for the longest time I wanted to be a pop star.
Yes.
And I still want to be a pop star. Let's be real. Okay, great.
Real.
Oh yeah, I would like.
I'll buy the album.
Oh, like, bless you. Oh my God. Yeah. Bless you. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. You know, what would I belt to in my room? Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, all the divas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I wanted so badly to be a pop star. But then when the acting bug bit me, I went, oh, I could probably do like all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. I do know. Yes.
Yeah. So I studied acting in high school, and then I decided to major in it and study in it in my undergrad, and I also went to graduate school for theater. So so much school, and it's a lot, and I will say that I'm super duper grateful for that education. I'm super duper in debt and would love the current administration to please cancel student debt. Yeah, okay, great.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be really amazing? We'd be life-changing for so many of us.
It's been great since the my like I think most student loan like payments, you haven't had to pay them for the whole pandemic. That has been iconic, because mine honestly started like 3 months before, so I'd only paid a little bit because, like I told you off camera, I left school in 2019. So like right as it was like 6 months after graduation, starts for 3 months, COVID hits. Don't have to pay it anymore. I was like, my dad was like, we don't have to pay your student loans for a minute. And I was like, oh shoot, yes. And then they extended that after like the first 6 months.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
I was like, this is iconic. And you know who could fix everything? And you know, billionaires could, you know, do for the world if they cared.
I know. I have many a mixed feeling about you know, I don't know if you saw like the news story yesterday about like talking about like why are wealthy people not getting taxed, and I just listened to a little news bit before we hopped on about how like this human kind of summed it up like, in America we tax salaries, not wealth, and I was like, that is dumb.
Yeah,
but okay
dumb. Yeah, anyway. No, and I also saw something like there's the constant stream of like Jeff Bezos could solve climate change without even blinking and still be the richest person in the world and stuff like that.
I'm just annoyed.
That's crazy. And then there's the other ones that are like, Dolly Parton is a millionaire for a reason, because once she goes past that, she donates to all of these charities or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, if only everyone else had a heart too.
Exactly. And it's just like, you know, being more human focused, human centered, and like I think that's a really great example, actually. Bezos and Dolly, like, who's the more human focused human? Dolly. So anyway,
always has been.
All this to say, I like learning. And I will say that, you know, so I graduated from, so I'm very proud of my alma maters. For undergrad, I went to Chapman University in Orange, California. Go Panthers. And for graduate school, I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators. Two very different cultures, very different undergraduate school and graduate school are two very different beasts. Like, I had so much more college time fun in undergrad, but I learned a lot in grad school, and I actually learned a lot after I graduated. And I graduated from Chapman in 2009 and graduated from University of Florida in 2013. So it's been, do the math, someone else. I don't want to do it. But it's been X amount of time since I've graduated. And I will say that, like, it's so true what we were talking about earlier about it. You just keep learning if you want to learn, and like, no matter what your craft is, or no matter what you're studying, or even if you like new interests, and like so many new interests I'm sure have popped up, like not only for me during this pandemic time, but your listeners, you know what I mean? Like, like in terms of like yourself, like just, we're always learning. And that is something that I'm truly trying to live by. So that's a little about me.
I love that. In that spirit, great segue, Annelih.
Thank you.
If people don't know, and we don't know your answer to this, it's different every time. What does the word canon mean to you?
Oh, I was been thinking about this all week. Canon. What does canon mean to me? When I first hear the word canon, I like immediately revert to Shakespeare, classics, or like the classic American dramas, like Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, you know, bunch of white guys. Yeah. And a lot of them are dead. So yeah, that is the first thing I think of. And I also think like when I hear the word canon, it's like the like like a base, like a library of works that like us as theater practitioners, or as arts practitioners, that we can like all refer to, and hopefully have some common ground about. Like, even if you haven't read all of Shakespeare's work, or all of Miller's work, or Williams' work, or whoever's work, you probably have read one at least, and are aware of like what characteristics of their writing, or like that. So I think of it in that sense of what a canon is. And I also think of it as a set of stuff that I have a hard time seeing myself being represented in.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I could play that. But you know, it just depends on if that production is happening, if the people behind the table are open to that, right? Blah blah blah. But so that's how I view canon.
Yes. You nailed it.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Yes, I've been waiting for someone to, I don't know why this popped up, because whenever I think of canon, the first thing I think is like pirates, pirate ship. I've been waiting for someone to say it, so I thought I would just say it. Boom.
That was my sound effect.
Yes. Love it. I've just been waiting for someone to say it, but it is, you said it so well. It's that group of shows, a library almost, of the like classic with air quotes American theater ? Yeah. For me, it's just a big question mark. So hence the podcast, everyone. Welcome. Yes.
Yeah, I love this. I love it.
So within the canon, there is some lovely stuff, and like you said, some not so lovely stuff. And especially when our whole community not everyone feels like they can see themselves, like you said, and because they can't, they're not there. The stories, they're few and far between, beautiful and also not beautiful. So what do you think is a show that has to go from our canon?
Oh my gosh, this question was so hard.
Dude, I know.
But so the time that we're recording this is June, and last month, May, Asian Pacific APAHM, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. There it is. I don't know if this is a thing, but I am personally trying to adjust me saying AAPI, because that stands for Asian American Pacific Islander, which I don't think is wrong, but I think the sense, like how that term came up, was like the census needed to put like this set of brown people together. So then they grouped AAPI together. Yeah. But to me, it's like Asian American and Pacific Islander. Like, aren't we all friends? So that's why that's why I'm choosing to say Asian Pacific American, because aren't we all friends? Okay. That's how I feel. Aren't we? I mean, I want to also, Danny, I love friendship. I'm very much like a human that leads this way. So I love lifelong learning and I love friendship. So
There we go.
so that's
Add the
Annelih GH
hyphenate.
Hamilton. Oh God. Friendship lover. Anyway. See, experimenting. Okay. Anyway. So I've been doing a lot of thinking. So when you ask this question about what's gotta go, and like very much like Asian stories are very much on my mind lately. I have to say the show that's gotta go, and it kind of breaks my heart to say, but I think it's time. The King and I, the musical. It's who wrote this show? Is it Rogers and Hammer? I'm looking up my notes. Yes, Rogers and Hammerstein. Yeah, man, The King and I. It's gotta go because you're nodding, you understand.
Well, you're not the first. It's so necessary, so keep going.
Yeah, it's just, I have a really interesting relationship to this show. I think it's one of the first, they did like a movie of it. I don't remember the time, but I saw that movie as a child. And I remember literally going, Asians, like I see Asians. I see myself on screen. And then I was like, who are these white people? And I was like, what is, and watching this as like a kid, I was a kid. What year did that movie come out? Do we know? It came out in, I'm looking up. We're on the Wikipedia.
Yes.
Everyone. I'm trying to, it's
we
like
fact check
whatever.
live here on the Next Canon.
We're fact check exactly. We're fact checking live right now. If you have any money, Wikipedia is always asking me for some, so please send them some money.
Because them.
Oh, you're right.
Send it to.
First of all, we should send it to the Next Canon podcast.
Oh,
because Danny's doing. Okay,
that's not what I was gonna say.
That's where I went.
And I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Who cares when this movie is on? Who cares?
Yeah.
But I remember watching it as a kid and being like so excited to see all of these brown faces on screen. And then, and the song, I mean, it's Rogers and Hammerstein. The songs are like, oh, we love us some fairy tale sounds. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, there are a song or two from that show that I do like have a lot of nostalgia for. Yeah. But ultimately at the end of the day, and they keep producing it. It's like, it's a story that exists and was like a slice, like a representation of like colonization, modernization. It's here, it has its place, but like, why do we keep doing it? Like, it's like, it's not, there are so many other stories that are better than that story. But apparently they still keep, I was just like, when I was doing my research for this, I came across a review from 2018 and I was like, really, these people are still doing this show? It's still here. Yeah. And I just, this show is really dangerous in terms of like perpetuating stereotypes, applauding and championing and putting on a pedestal colonization and not one culture is better than the other. It's like not very human focused, right? Even though like the leading lady is like loves the children. I mean, I don't know. It's just
the leading lady loves the children really just got me.
Loves the children.
I've honestly never seen it, but I have seen some like clips and snippets. And I like one is of the scene you're talking about, like, or of the vibe that you're talking about. And I was like, yeah, that looks problematic at the beginning, like just to the naked eye.
Yes. It's so interesting because I've been doing a lot of this like rewatching of things in general, like whether it's I like watched a show like 8 years ago or as a child or whatever, and I'm watching it now. Like when we all got Disney Plus,
Yeah.
and I was rewatching the stuff again, and I was like, dang, this is what I want. Wow, this is like, I'm so, thank goodness for critical thinking skills, because I can still enjoy this for like nostalgia, but I can also be like, no, never again. Like we can't perpetuate that harm. We can't perpetuate that stereotype. Like we need to do our part to make sure that idea doesn't continue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I haven't seen King and I in the longest time. And I actually would be curious to watch that specific film that I remember from my childhood. I would be curious to watch it and see what really will stick out like a sore thumb in terms of like what, because I having not seen it in a long time, and literally I'm just sharing with you right now, like from my memory, and then like reading the things that I read, I'm like, oh yeah, that does happen in the play. Like already it's like problematic, like what I'm remembering and what I'm reading, and then like to rewatch it again would be wild.
Yeah. And you wonder what your brain cherry picked as like the keynote of this show.
Yes. And the I remember, because in the musical and in like the formula of storytelling, there's like the main plot and the subplot. So like the main thing is between the king and white leading lady. Okay, great. And then I don't know. And then the subplot between between Tup Tim and the guy she really loves, and Tup Tim is the and like the king in the King of Siam in the story has has several wives, and is getting Tup Tim as another wife, and is also a slave, I think, based on what I read. And so I remember watching like Tup Tim and like her scenes and being like so excited. I wasn't even paying attention to like what was happening. I was just like, wow, here is this Asian woman singing and acting. So like watching Tup Tim, whoever that actor was, do her thing, and like beautiful voice. I was honestly just like struck by her and her beauty, and seeing an Asian woman on camera, and like I was not paying attention to what was happening. I didn't realize she was enslaved to this family, to this king. I didn't realize she was set to be another wife of his. I knew that she was in love with the other guy, and I understood that she had other commitments to her, the king, but I was like sitting there like, why can't she just like go with the guy that she likes? That's definitely where I was. And then like, oh wow, that's so cool, I saw an Asian girl sing,
Yeah.
like that's like that is what I remember, baby Annelih like really attaching to.
Yeah.
And it would be it would be kind of like funny sad to watch as adult Annelih and be like, oh wow, I I feel like we internalize a lot of like trauma and oppression on from things that we've watched, right? But I will say that what has influenced us, but I will say I don't really know or remember if I like really internalized like the colonization. I probably did subconsciously. Not like, yeah, probably subconsciously. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. We don't need to do that show anymore.
Yeah. Everyone who's listened to the podcast, you will know that I'm just saying, like, put these things on the shelf. Like, they did happen. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not burning the books. You can still read them.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't need that. And like you were saying, the harmful, like, stereotypes and perpetuating, like, when you were talking about how we don't need to perpetuate that stuff, I just wanted to, like, hug you, because that's the entire, like, that's my whole goal with the podcast, because it's just, like, We don't need to do that, you guys. Like, mindfulness is essential when you're planning a season. Like, come
Yes.
on.
And also, like, you know, the whole saying, like, history repeats itself. Like, yeah, history, it does, because we keep not learning from it. We keep not, like, we already did that show, or we already like made that mistake. Like, why do you want to make it again? And it's like, oh, if you're gonna give me the excuse that your subscribers are blah blah blah, like, then maybe you just need you just need new subscribers. Like,
Yes.
if they're not going to be on board for the type of change and justice and representation that, like, that's such power that a theater company holds. And if you're not here to, like, tell the stories that need to be told, why are you doing this work? Like, just like,
Say it again for the people in the back, dude.
if you are not telling the stories that need to be told, why are you doing this work? Why? And it's like, it's a spectrum of things. Like, I love like a good old jukebox musical. Like, I love those. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's totally a space for that. But you can also, like, be mindful of how you cast it, or be mindful of what you're perpetuating, like what is in the story and what are you perpetuating, whatever. But we all love our silly sing-alongs. Why not? Like, something you don't, art doesn't always need to be like, or theater or whatever, it doesn't always need to be like, you know, I think
like, it doesn't need every time.
Exactly. It does not have to kill you every time. It doesn't have to, like, make you, like, pontificate. Like, no, there is space.
Reality, like,
yeah. I just sometimes like to see some funny shit, or I like to see some I love corny, like, like, you know, like, yeah. But also, because I understand, like, you know, there's a formula and how, like, seasons are created, and it's just like, quit appeasing your subscriber base and challenge them, like, and yeah, you know what I mean, challenge them. And also, like, you're sure, and like, if you have to have like the one show that's like your chill show, sure, have that jukebox musical, but have the rest of your season, like, reflect, like, what the stuff that we actually need to talk about in order to affect change and be better global citizens. Like, we just need to
recognize humanity, all of that. 100% agree with you. I was like right on board, and you were like, challenge them, and I was like, yes. Like, they're not the right subscribers. It, like, that is such a huge thing that people say, like, if we do this, the subscribers will pull their funding. You are too scared to make change because you might lose money. Try to remember why you fell in love with acting and why you want to do what you're doing, like you said.
Yeah. And, like, you know, like, it takes all sorts of humans to make live art together. And it's like, we have to remember, like, why did you go into designing? Why did you go into directing? Why did you go into writing? Why did you go into any of it? And like, what kind of how do you want to be part of, do you want to be part of perpetuating harm, or do you want to be part of perpetuating representation and kindness and humanity? Like, come on. So
good point. Everyone ask yourself that and tune in, maybe do a meditation. Who's to say? Who could say? Who could say? No, it's so good. And on that note of, like, wanting to increase and, like, just perpetuate all of our good representation, humanity, all of that amazing stuff, what's your show that everyone should know?
Oh my goodness, Danny.
Instead?
Danny, I couldn't pick just one. Okay,
well, give me as many as you want, but let's do it.
Okay, Danny, this is a really good question. So, also in light of APA, HM, and representation, I kind of approach this question differently. So, yes, is there a specific writer that I want to add to the canon? I want to add Justin Huertas to the theater canon. Okay, great. And specifically in terms of specific shows, I really want to highlight Lizard Boy, and I want to highlight Last World Octopus Wrestling Champion. He doesn't know that I'm doing this. So I want you to know that he doesn't know that I told him that I was doing this podcast, but he doesn't know that I'm doing this.
God,
So anyway.
I'm like, oh no. Oh my God, he knows about my podcast.
Oh yes, he does. He knows. So for your listeners, so Justin Huertas and I have been friends forever. We have been friends. We've known each other since we were 8 years old, and we became friends. When we were like 11, and then we got really close when we were 16, and we haven't looked back ever since. So I have a very
so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my closest, dearest friends. He was the man of honor in my wedding. I got married in 2013. And yeah, him and I have been able to stay close over so long. Yeah, we've known each other for so long. And he's always been this creative. And he really dabbled, I think, into like playwriting in high school, but specifically I think our senior year. And so I could like foresee that. I was like, he's going to do something. And I'm very grateful I'm very proud of him and seeing how his career has flourished in Seattle and hopefully beyond. Okay, great. Just wishing, manifesting vibes and beyond. Right. So I just love his work. I think that Huertas, he's really like about amplifying queer stories, Filipinx, BIPOC stories. He's really like, if you've ever had the pleasure of seeing his work, whether live in Seattle or on the YouTube, or actually, let's plug his Patreon. Go support him on Patreon.
Yes.
It's just, we find like the humanness in his work. We find that we all like can connect in some way, like we all can relate. And I especially want to highlight the Last World Octopus Wrestling Champion that did its premiere at Arts West Playhouse. I don't know what year, but recently. And I love this show so much, and it must be added to the canon because it focuses on a Filipinx family. And like, as a Filipinx American woman, it's been very rare for me to see like a Filipina, and to see a Filipina character. Do I see many a Filipina actor playing, oh, I don't know, every other race except our own? So much. It's infuriating because I've been in that position where I've had to play, like, what do? I think I'm in a place now in my career where I can be a bit more selective, but in terms of earlier in my career, when I just want like to be cast, I'll, like, I want to, how do I get my foot in the door? I mean, I was not going to say yes to anything, but I think my options were a little bit more wider earlier on in my career, right? Because I just wanted to get on stage. I just wanted to get hired. I just wanted to book jobs so I could go on, be booked for the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I just really love, what are we calling this play, Justin? The Last World Octopus Wrestling Champion. I really love this play because it's I see myself in that story. I see myself in those characters. I see my family in those characters. I see my friends in those characters. And I think it's just like such, and it's, not only like Filipinx people that are in it, there's also an ensemble that's in it. So you can have like even more a range of humans being represented, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and he's such a great songwriter. I would say oftentimes what I really love in regards to his music, especially for like when it's safe, I can't wait to gather again in person. But prior to COVID, when we were all able to gather in person, um, watching his music have an effect on people, just it's like so moving, and it's just like, yeah, it's just like I've been able to see his career grow, and I really would love for his career, his work, his writings, his music to really be part of the global theater canon, because I think he's just he's just doing such revolutionary work, and I'm very just so grateful that that he feels empowered enough to do it, that he's getting the support to do it. That imagine if we were able, like, Justin and I were actually talking about this the other day, where he was like, i I've been really great, I've been really supported, and like my career is like, like in terms of like everyone's path is unique, right? And um if only we could all be as supported as that. You know what I mean? Like for me personally, I feel like super supported in my work. I think that I've had a lot of opportunities um, based on like where I've worked, where I've gone to school, who I know, and I recognize that like I have a lot of privilege in that, right? And I recognize how I navigate the space as a Filipina American woman. Um, I do recognize like where where my privilege lies and how I navigate a space. And I'm just really grateful if I wasn't given the support and care that, I mean, my eighth grade teacher was like, she could be an actor. Like, wow. Imagine, imagine if
Mhm.
all little brown and black babies were given that kind of like confidence and support and love, and like, like I'm very grateful to where my career is at this point in my life. And yeah, and so all this to say, I just want Justin's work to go everywhere, so that's
Yes.
who I pick.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, and of course we have to mention Lizard Boy, because Lizard Boy is really what launched his career. If you're not familiar, just type in Lizard Boy and Seattle Rep in your favorite search engine, and you will see what the phenomenon that is Lizard Boy. So yeah, I'm really excited for him. His future is very bright. There's lots of things. If you just search his name, you'll find the things. But yeah, I'm very much a cheerleader for him, and he needs to be added to the next canon.
Hey, oh my God, you're the first person that said it like that, and I love it. That's amazing.
We have
Oh,
fun here. We have fun
yes, we
here.
do. See, I get, I'm so like I thank my past self for creating this, because I've gotten to laugh with so many new people.
Yeah,
I've
we
just got,
love
it's
it.
amazing. And I hear everyone's unique stories and relationships with theater and the work that they're doing. And I'm so inspired by everyone who's been on the podcast. You are no exception. Like,
Oh,
this is
bless.
so, this is just always so heartwarming. I always feel better after I record with people. And it's just like connecting
Like
the
hopeful, right?
hopeful, like just like seen a little bit because someone saw me on a Zoom, and like we got to talk about theater. I'm like the
Yeah.
changes that are necessary, and I know this is often a hard conversation, and I am grateful for everyone who's listening, and I just think it can offer so much healing to hear people talk about this. One of my very first like
Yes.
comments from someone was like, "I love your podcast. I didn't know they were listening." And they basically said it has helped me heal. And this was like after my third or fourth episode, and they were like, "This is amazing. This is wonderful." And I was just like,
Yes.
"Bless you." Like you just said to me, like, "Thank you for saying that." Like I just hope we're building a we're building a library of how to fix stuff. A little,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna fix everything.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, you're one person, I'm one person. We can't do this alone. It's literally like a team of us, a community of us have to come together in order to do the thing. And it, the pandemic, the ongoing pandemic, and I want to just stress that for me, the pandemic will never be over until it's over in all the countries. So like if we magically, I don't know, if the US magically eradicates COVID-19, yay for us. But is it still happening in other countries across the world? Probably.
Yeah.
So it's not over until we're all safe. And I mean globally, right? Because I think we also like don't like we have such a like individualistic like point of view, like oh, it's just me that matters. And but like no, like it we really need to work on expanding our point of view to be actually like we're all on this planet. And if COVID has affected all of us, you know? And so I'm bringing it back around to say that the only way that we're ever going to get through anything, COVID included, is being together as a community. And like you're not alone. And like this podcast is super dope because it's like one thing to add to the many things that human beings are doing to make the world a better place. Like I have to give a shout out to Anna Maria. I think you interviewed her
Yes.
early on, and like I'm so impressed with her and her mutual aid wash masks. And she's
Still go
seriously
donate,
like,
everyone, and like she's killing the game.
yes. And she's such a like, to me she's such an example of like what it she talks the talk and she walks the walk, you know what I mean? Same thing with Sarah Porkalab. I think Sarah Porkalab is a dope activist in our community. And you know, she's many things. She's a theater practitioner. She gonna make her Broadway debut next year. Cross fingers that, oh, I don't know, that the pandemic won't screw us over more. But yeah, but yes, shout out to Sarah Porkalab, Broadway. She about to take over. You know what I mean? But it like takes and like and there are and like everyone that's interviewed with you and like there's so many humans across, not only in our little community here in the Western Washington or here in the Washington, but also like around, you know, there are so many of us that are doing the work and we just got to keep going. It's so daunting.
Oh my God.
And I recognize how daunting it is. But this podcast and like the work, the individual work that we're all doing, I think is also like we're all working towards a common goal of, you know, leaving the world a little bit better. When we leave the world, leaving it a little bit better than we found it. I didn't do. Yeah.
Fingers crossed on that one, for sure. Are there any shows happening around you right now that you would like to promote today?
I am currently not participating in any live artistic work right now. I am okay, Danny.
Yes.
Gonna get real with you. I'm really disliking this as I've seen the local news phrase, the race to reopen, this rush to reopen. I'm not a fan at all. I think it's just so not human centered. It's not human focused. It's very economy and big business centered. And like, yeah, I just don't like it. And so I recognize my privilege. I recognize I have the resources at this time to make a slow reentry into the world. So I'm really being mindful and intentional and with how I'm engaging with the world and people. Like I'm fully vaccinated. And if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, listeners, think about it. Go get it, because why not?
Yep.
You can DM me with your concerns later. but it's just like we're all on different paths, right, of how we want to re-engage with the world. And I'm being super slow, and I also have dealt with a lot of like virtual theater fatigue. So yeah, man, like yeah. So currently I am not doing anything right now in terms of artistic work going on in our community right now, because I do recognize that theaters are starting to do the things, and I'm grateful that they're doing outdoor things because it's summer, and that's super dope. And like, it sounds like people are being safe. I think so.
Hopefully.
I think so. But currently I'm not working on anything. I'm not working with anyone right now, but I am doing my own things.
Yes.
Which I am going to keep close, because I'm not in any space yet to announce what I'm doing. But I'm going to be real vague. We're going to be real vague.
Once it is announced, do let me know, and I'll share it on all of my social medias, because that's just, I want to support all of my people. Come on.
I will. Oh, I appreciate that. So just to like give like a tiny hint, I'm really leaning into informal education and what that looks like. And so that is what the small business is going to lean into. It's going to lean into informal education and activism. And, you know, because it's me, there's going to be some actor storytelling characteristics to it as well. Hoping to launch in the fall, and we'll definitely, and if that timeline changes, I'll let you know. But I'll send you the things.
Yes,
when it's time.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I hope that whoever's listening wants to go on the ride with me, because why not?
Yes, we love it. And for people to follow you, where should they follow you to keep up to date?
You can follow me on the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram. My handle is at Annelih GH. So at ANNELIHGHH. I am private on Insta, but if you request me or DM me, please do, because I want to connect with you. I just have a thing about not dealing with bots and spammers. That's it. And there's a lot of them. And so it's not that I want to be your friend. It's that there are a lot of bots and spammers, and I don't want to deal with them.
Yeah, so just DM her and be like, hi, I listened to you on the Next Canon podcast. I want to be friends.
Oh, I love friendship.
Friendship lover. Okay, and my very last question, that is a sneaky question that you didn't know about. Oh my God. Who should I have on this podcast?
Oh my gosh. You should have Justin Huertas on your podcast.
I sure should.
For sure. If you haven't had Sarah Porklub on your podcast,
a dream.
Did you like that? A dream. And like, I'm naming
that's my like top tier. Yes. Would love to have Sarah on the podcast.
Oh my God, have Sarah on the podcast. I love that I also just named two Filipino ex people. Yes. That's really funny. We are all real tight, all of us. Rihanna Atendido, another Filipina, would be dope to have on your podcast. Yes. If you want to have some fun, I mean, we're all having fun.
I love fun.
I should ask, is it all your guests BIPOC? Which is no, is that intentional?
It is intentional, but the reasoning is, so I search for BIPOC folks, queer folks, artists with disabilities, femmes. That's my goal.
Artists with disabilities. You should have, I want to make sure that I am saying their name right. You should have Mickey Rowe on your podcast if you haven't yet.
I haven't.
Do you know who he is?
No.
He is autistic and legally blind.
Love it.
And is amazing. And he is very much like a trailblazer in terms of like being an actor with disabilities. So Mickey Rowe, also a really, yes, you should have him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I have so many people.
No, I love it. Shimona sent me a list, and
I'll send you a list.
Please send me a list. It can have as many people on it as you want to. Like, I'm making my way through everyone's little lists if I get them. Yeah. And I'm so grateful, because it's just like expanding my horizon.
Oh, you should also Danny Hobbs, if you're familiar with them.
I've met them. I've met them on
Yeah.
something.
And Jasmine Joshua is another human.
Yes.
They are also, I think that is their last
I've
name.
heard their,
Let's hope.
I feel like I've heard their
Yes.
name before. But I don't know.
Jasmine's so dope because they are parent to twins. And yeah.
So cool.
And oh my gosh, they're twins. Darling babies. Just darling. And just being a parent to twins in general, but now also during a pandemic, I think deserves to be applauded.
Yes, everyone listening, give a round of applause. I honestly, this is so off topic, but like I want twins. My dad's a twin. My grandpa on the other side was a twin. My grandma on my dad's side had sisters who were twins, and it skipped our generation. Like no one from my dad who is the twin, no one from that generation on either side of my family, my mom or my dad, where there's a history of twins, none of them had it. And I'm like, maybe it skipped a generation because I want some.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yes. Oh, this is actually very fitting that we're talking about that. I feel like because we just shared this, I need to share with you. So I am a twin.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a heart moment, everyone. You can define that as you will. So my twin sister, Annelih, yes, Annelih and Annelih. We're so cute. She was a person with disabilities, and she passed away in December of 2010. So I say this to also just say that like I do my work very much in memory of her, and like in celebrate, like I really, and I have since I was a kid, have also not only lived my life for me but for her, and that's always been a thing. She when we were born, as a result of like the entire birthing process, her oxygen to her brain didn't get there, and then when all was said and done, it just resulted into brain damage, and her not developing like we do, like able-bodied people do.
Yeah.
And so she had cerebral palsy. She had a tracheostomy in her throat to help her breathe. She had a gastro tube to get food. And my parents are phenomenal and like always wanted her to be with us. So she lived with, like, you can have like the option, if whatever works for you, to like have alternative care. But my parents were very much like, no, she's with us. And so that was really great. I learned so much from being able to be with my sister all the time. But yeah, so she had personal disabilities, could not walk, had a wheelchair, and very much I would say like in terms of like mental like capacity, I very much knew she was like smarter than she, like, who knows what was going on in that mind. But her, because of the damage that had been done when we were born, she never, like, she couldn't talk. She very much like stayed like at infant stage her whole life, if that makes sense. And she passed away when she was 23, and that was like twice the life expectancy of what she was. She was like, the doctor, I think I remember, I have a memory of someone telling me that she wouldn't live past 11 years old, and she lived till she was 23. So she's like an example every day. I live my life for her. I'm so grateful for her. Twins are great. Twins are great. And
my dad, he's
go ahead.
No, it's my dad's twin brother actually passed away when I was in college as well. He got cancer. He got skin cancer. No, it's it is like what it is, and that's he fought really hard and all that stuff. He was one of my favorite people in the world. It is and it having like that time with him, like I was obviously devastated. He was dying while I was like in school. I traveled every week from Seattle to Walla Walla to like go visit him while my dad was there as well, and it was just like But we love twins, and like
We
really
love twins.
we do
love
love
twins.
a twin. And they're just amazing. And so I'm like, I want them because like what a cool thing. Like what
No,
a sweet-
totally.
And they also had like a birth defect. They had twin transfusion syndrome.
I don't
Which
know
is
what that is.
so twin transfusion syndrome, my dad's umbilical cord was about as big as a thumb and my uncle's was like a pinky. So my dad got all of these nutrients. Whoa, so many nutrients. He was purple when he was born. This
Oh,
baby,
because he got everything.
he got everything. And my uncle was a teeny tiny little, like almost nothing on his bones. So my dad was huge and my uncle was very, very, very small. Usually one of these babies dies, and it's usually the bigger one. And so the little one, they can supplement with all of the things that you would do for like a preemie, like you can.
Sure.
And the big one, they don't know how to get it out. Usually.
Out.
So my dad was actually one of the very first people to survive this type of twin transfusion syndrome. And it was because of a, let's hear it, female nurse who was working at the hospital in Central Washington, where they lived in Burbank near Pasco, the Tri-Cities area. And they were going to helicopter my dad to Seattle to try and save him there. But the odds of survival were just as good with this idea that this female doctor had. She was like, I think I know what they're doing wrong with the babies who die. I think I can fix it. And she was like talking to my grandpa, and he was just like,
do it.
Nothing to like we got nothing, like we're gonna lose him if you don't. So let's try it. And he lived, and I'm here today. Like, how crazy is that? And like,
it's beautiful.
I know. It's insane. And like every time I always like told people that, I was like, I did studies on it in school because I was like, this is crazy, this is wild. But like, thank you, female nurse in freaking rural Washington, for saving as a little infant.
That's so beautiful.
They're in like a medical journal because it's like they were one of the very first babies in the nation to live from this. Or in
wow, that's so fancy.
I know.
That's amazing.
Wild.
Yeah, that's wild and like great.
Yeah.
Twins are
magical. Magical.
What yes. Magical. So yeah, so continuing the magic.
Long twin conversation. I'm leaving it in the podcast. Everyone who thought we were ending when I said like, who would you like to see?
Wrap it up. And we're twins.
Anyway, here's a 10-minute conversation about twins.
Well, I was like, obviously, I didn't, I'm not shy about bringing up Annelih, but if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. And then it came up. I was like, I should.
You know what's even more magical is that when I was introducing you, I accidentally, before I resaid your name, said Annelih. And I had no idea. I almost went, I almost said Annelih, which is crazy now that you said that.
Yeah, that's
like
dope.
When you said it in my brain, I went, no freaking way. I said that.
So her name is spelled Hanneli, and my name is spelled Annelih. So if you put the H in front of the A in my name, it's her name. Wow. And then because my parents are amazing, and I think this is like also indicative of Filipinx culture. And I'm very curious to hear if other cultures do this too. But like, but I think also we can all agree that like names have meaning, right? So our names are a mashup of my parents' names. Isn't that cute? That's so it's so like cute. It's Antonio and Nelia, and that's how.
Oh, wow,
and then my maiden name is Holganza, so that's where the H comes from. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so grateful for this conversation that we've had, and I'm so grateful to everyone listening. And I hope you've enjoyed our chat today, because we had so many sweet little like nuggets in there. I'm so excited to share it with you all. If you liked it, give it, I don't know where you're watching this, so give it a like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you're supposed to do on the platform that you are on. And thank you so much again for listening. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.